Hey, what's up? Welcome to the DFS Sweatshop. Welcome back. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. And today is my favorite day of the week because it is Friday, so we're talking stacks. I'm going to give you a few examples of three stacks that I like to do every week. Generally, I put my hat in three games that I really like the most, and I choose the offense that I think is going to be doing the most work, and I stack the shit out of it. Maybe come up with some correlation plays on the other side of the ball, and stick to the core players that I have. And I usually start with value players, guys that are going to be fairly low owned because people don't think that they're very good. They're actually pretty cheap, and those are the guys that I start with. So just to give you a look at my core, these are guys that I really like this week for very low ownership and for very little money. The first guy is Tyler Lockett. Like I really like Tyler Lockett this week. He's been a full participant in practice. He's healthy. Pete Carroll says he's ready to go. I really like Tyler Lockett this week. The next guy is Ted Ginn Jr. Now we know we're going to have an offensive explosion in this game. In these two games I'm talking about the Seattle and Atlanta game, as well as the Carolina and the Saints game. So know that the over/under for the Carolina Saints game is 53 points. We look to see a lot of scoring, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of yardage. I think Ted Ginn fits in perfectly with this game, and I really like him at 3,900. Tyler Lockett, of course, they're going up against the league's best offense in the Atlanta Falcons, so that would lead me to believe that there's going to be some scoring involved there too. So at 3,600, I really think that Tyler Lockett can be this week's Sammy Coates. So when we're talking about the stacks, we went through this in my last video, but what it is, we want to find start with the core player. We want the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, quarterback, wide receiver, wide receiver. However we want to do it, we want to make sure we get as much exposure as we can to the guys that are going to be scoring the most points. And there's three ways that I like to do it. I like to go with an aggressive stack, of course, for my GPP tournament, so I can try to take one of those down. In single entry games that are pretty much like cash games, so to speak, I like to go with a more conservative stack. Somebody who they may have a little bit higher ownership, but the combination of them is what may set me apart from the other players. And then the passive stack, relatively decent ownership. Everybody's probably going to be on them. I'm just trying to stay with the rest of the field so that when Tyler Lockett and Ted Ginn actually go off, I can really reap the benefits of that because I stay with everybody long enough for my value plays to really help me turn the corner. Let's look at the first one. This is Russell Wilson stack, right? This is this is exactly getting exposure to the Atlanta and Seattle game. Now, I like Russell Wilson this week. He definitely pairs with Tyler Lockett, and you'll see at the tight end position, I've got Jimmy Graham. So I'm stacking that. I'm stacking that offense. I like the quarterback, the tight end, and the wide receiver. I think that together they're going to give me, a decent amount of points, so that when my value plays, my Tyler Lockett and my Ted Ginn, when they go off, I'm good, So I rounded it out with Jamal Charles, who I really like this week as an sort of an aggressive play. A lot of people probably won't be on him, but they'll be on the other running back, Spencer Ware. But I like Jamal Charles. Anytime you get that type of talent for that price, you got to take a chance on it. So I like him. That enabled me to get Antonio Brown, to put Antonio Brown in the lineup as well. We know he's going up against the Miami Dolphins. They really bad team against the pass. I think Antonio Brown will be able to have a great game. Now I also stacked the running backs as well. What I did was I got the entire backfield. Now, I don't suspect Charkandrick West is going to be a factor at all in this game. So what this is telling me that every time Kansas City rushes the ball, unless it's Alex Smith, I can be looking for positive yardage, maybe some touchdowns. We know that he rarely throws downfield to receivers. He rarely throws touchdowns to receivers. So I think I'm gonna be pretty safe with Spencer Ware and Jamal Charles in my lineup. The next stat is going to be more of a tournament play, And as you can see, I do like Jamal Charles a lot this week. I really do like him. So what I just said was about Alex Smith not really throwing the ball downfield, throwing it to the running backs. If my first stack is even the least bit correct, then Alex Smith should be having a pretty decent game and get the ball to the running backs in the game. I was able to have Antonio Brown. I've got Jeremy Maclin, and this just in case I may be wrong over here. And I ended up going double tight with Richard Rodgers for Green Bay and CJ Uzomah. I like the Buffalo Bills this week against the 49ers. You know, Kaepernick is playing. And, of course, my New York Football Giants. We are not as good against the run as the stats will say. I think Terrence West can get into the second level, maybe break some tackles. Around the goal line, he should be good to score a touchdown. And, of course, I like Odell Beckham a lot this week. He's probably the only real receiving threat that we have on the team right now, like a guaranteed touchdown. I like Odell Beckham this week. And this stack, this is very expensive. This is something that it takes a lot of finagling to actually get to it. So we started with Ben Roethlisberger, pairing him with Le'Veon Bell. Antonio Brown rounds out the stack. That is that offense. I think that's going to net me a fair amount of points. If this is true, if what I'm saying is correct, then we're going to see some throws downfield from the Miami Dolphins trying to catch up in this game. That is where I like Kenny Stills. Kenny Stills is a deep threat. We know that he can go and take it the distance if he's in the right situation. At tight end, I like Larry Donnell. There you see Tyler Lockett pop up again. He's somebody that's going to be in a lot of my lineups this week. The same thing happened with Sammy Coates last week. I had him in a lot of different spots. I like the Titans defense, and you see the correlation there is I have DeMarco Murray. So if DeMarco Murray is running the ball well, grinding out the clock, the better he plays, the less time that the Cleveland defense is going to spend on the field. That means the less time they're going to be scoring. That means the lower the score is going to be for them, the better it is for the Titans. So just a quick overview. I gave you a few of my stacks I like this week. The highest owned of these is probably the highest owned quarterback. I'm not talking about stacks, but it's the highest owned quarterback out of all of these guys. It's probably going to be Ben Roethlisberger. He's going to be like the safest play, but it's hard to fit Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown in the same lineup. So I'm going to look to set myself apart with the way I got all those guys together. So this has been the Stacks segment from the Daily Fantasy Sweatshop. I am your host, of course, the DFS Jerusalem. Follow me on Twitter, like, YouTube, subscribe. It's going to be a great season. Let's get this money, y'all.